Hello, my name is Keith Haswell. I'm a professional astrologer with over 30,000 clients worldwide now in the last 40 years, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this video. And on this video I'm going to be talking with you about health and healing. Now I want to get this video done as soon as possible, get it all finished so that you are not on the watch too long, what you might say. I like to keep them as brief as possible, so I'm going to cram as much as possible into this video in as short a time as possible for you. So you might have to play the video a number of times in order to get the full benefit from it. Now, health and healing, it's a very important topic because so many of us are coming down with ill health, and it's not just ill health and old age. Everybody thinks when they're young that this is all about old age and it's not important to me. Well, it is important to you because the impacts that come from the astrology side of things are on you in terms of accidents on the road and injuries to your body and breaks of bones and fevers and all sorts of illnesses. So I mean, it's not just an old person's video, this one. So you just sit back and relax, and let's all work together as a team to develop some understanding here and get some understanding out. Now, it's important to understand that all of us are in a giant spiritual classroom. This classroom is a space-time rule set, and in this space-time rule set we are utilizing energy. We are an energy center. We have all these centers in our etheric or energy body, and they are receiving energies from the sun, from the earth, and from the planets. And these energies are entering through a center between the shoulder blades and going down to the center at the base of the spine, where they express themselves as physical activity. If they're not utilized there, they go to the sacral center and express as sexual energy. If they're not utilized there, they go to the solar plexus center and they express as emotions and feelings. If they're not utilized there, they go to the throat and they express as thinking processes, thoughts. And if they're not utilized there, they can go to the heart center and express as love. And then the higher centers are the one between the eyes for the intuition, and the one at the top of the head for spiritual will. And most people are functioning in the lower centers, in the sacral center, and the sexual expression and the physical expression and the emotional expression. That's where the majority of human beings are stuck. So here we all are, we're in a spiritual classroom, we're utilizing energy and we're living under laws that God and Goddess have put into place that are designed to make sure that we utilize these energies wisely and economically and according to the law of economy. And what's happening is that we're misusing these energies. We are using these energies for the wrong thinking processes and for the wrong actions and for the wrong feelings and so forth. And so therefore there's got to be, that becomes, when it's like that, you see, life adapts. Life adapts, and life will always want to be functional. And so if these energies are being misused and abused and not used according to the law of economy, then it's a functional non-viability. And so there has to be some correction to our awareness of that fact. And we're not in the position where we can be walking down the street and hear a booming voice coming out of the sky telling us that we're making mistakes in our life. Imagine walking down the street and there's all these voices coming for everybody who's walking down the street with you. It would be a bit confusing, and so therefore there has to be some way of getting a message across to us that we are utilizing energies unwisely and uneconomically, and that it's all turning into a functional non-viability. So this is what I want to look at here on this video, is the type of energies that we're using and how we're abusing these energies and how we're not using them economically according to the law of economy. So no one can get out of this. We're all in this giant spiritual classroom. And it's not a matter of saying, well, I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in this, and I don't believe in astrology, and I don't believe in the law of cause and effect, and I don't believe in the law of economy and so forth. Makes no difference whether you believe in these things. These are the laws that we live within, in the solar system and in the universe. And so you do have impacts upon your consciousness that are bringing about changes in the habit patterns and the utilization of these energies. So what I want to do for you is to do it in an astrological way, as I normally do, and to work on the planets Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, because this is where most of the problems are going to be brought about in your horoscope, is through the use of these energies. Now Mars is your energy levels, your sexual energies and your adrenaline and so forth, and your passion and your enthusiasm. Jupiter is working to develop your understanding and your wisdom and your morals, principles and values. Saturn is working to develop your practicality, your organisational ability, your leadership qualities and your ability to bring down an idea into manifestation through a structured plan, into manifestation as conditions and events in your life. And so these energies are coming to us through the planet, from the planets, and they're entering into our body and we're abusing them. And so there has to be some correction that this is a functional non-viability here. And so there has to be some correction to our consciousness of the fact that we have misused these energies, and the way that that adjustment works out is through ill health and impacts and crises in our life and so forth, because we're pretty thick. We're pretty thick in the head, and we need a few heavy blows to our consciousness to get us to think. And we start thinking, hey, maybe there's a connection between that accident that I had on the road and the bad use of energy and speech there, third house energies. So what I'll do is I'll go through each of the houses of the horoscope. Now the first house is the house where we are fulfilling our needs for impact and commencing and starting projects that originate from our own ideas. Well, if we've got energies of Mars in there and we're misusing these energies, we're aggressive, we're dominant, we're manipulative, we're controlling and so forth, then there's got to be some correction to our misuse of this energy. And if we're rushing in impulsively and not thinking carefully about our plans and our structures and things like that, then we're making all sorts of mistakes there with regard to the utilisation of Martian energies. If we're not developing wisdom through the Jupiterian energies, the energies of the second ray of love, wisdom, then we're not loving, we're not developing wisdom in the planning and structuring and organising our things, and we're deceptive and so forth, and we don't have morals, principles and values there in the things that we're commencing and starting, then there's got to be some correction. In Saturn, utilising these energies, if we're allowing ourselves to get depressed and won't take responsibility and won't plan and structure things out and don't want to work and all sorts of things there, well, we're not utilising the Saturn energies as we should do to develop practicality and organisational ability and so forth. Now then we go to the second house of finances. Well, Mars working in there will mean that you're going to be impulsive with money, and you're wasting money and you're not budgeting wisely and so forth. Jupiter there in the second house means that you're using money deceptively and earning money perhaps from deceptive practices and fraudulent practices and so forth. You're not expressing your morals, principles and values in terms of the utilisation of money. And Saturn sitting in there in your second house will see you having frustrations and difficulties with regard to money matters, and you're going to be experiencing lack of wisdom and planning ability with regard to your money. This is what I'm trying to say to you here, is that your horoscope is an individual thing for you, and everybody's got their Mars in different locations, and everybody's got their Jupiter in different locations in the horoscope, and everybody's got Saturn in their different locations in the horoscope. And this is what the idea of going to an astrologer is. The astrologer tells you where all these planets are, and therefore are they well aspected or badly aspected, these planets? If they're badly aspected, it means that you need a correction. If they're well aspected, it means that you've developed principles well there through those particular houses and those particular planets. So it's very complicated, I know, and very deep and complex, I know. So that just gives you an idea of the massive amount of activities that are going on in our body when we're misusing these energies. And so the way to get out of all of this problem and difficulty with regard to your health, don't think that you can get away with it. You can't pass out of the body until such time as you've worked all these things out. And so what do you want to do? Spend the last 10 years of your life in some sort of a nursing home or something, in agony, with your body is not working properly, and you've got heart troubles and this and that, and lung problems and pneumonia all the time and stuff like that, and you can hardly breathe, or you got dementia and you're not hardly even there in terms of consciousness, and you're trying to communicate and you can't, and all sorts of problems there. What do you want to do? We are abusing ourselves something awful. So the idea is to be able to utilize these energies for planning and structuring things out with efficiency and wisdom and practicality, and our finances to look after them properly, and our communications to be kind and understanding and tolerant and honest in our communications, to provide a proper home environment for those who share the home with us, and to be loving and so forth in relationships, and to be honest and have integrity and trust in relationships, and to not overdo it on the social side of life, to be practical in the job, to be wise with regard to exercise and diet and so forth, so that we've got the temple of the soul there is looked after by you, to be loyal in relationships and committed to the relationship, and to not be argumentative and assertive with that person, and to let them be themselves. Don't try to dominate them and make them what you want them to be. You share your wholeness with them instead of requiring them to make you whole. So that's the idea and the object of the exercise. And I won't bother going through the other houses of the horoscope because time doesn't allow. So look, what I'm trying to say to you is this, is that we're all in a giant spiritual classroom. There's no getting out of it. We're all signed up, and we've all lived hundreds of lifetimes in the past. And so it's time now to start working on functional viability, and to make sure that all of the energies that you are utilizing are fitting in with those laws of economy that say that the energies must be used wisely and harmoniously and economically. And any misuse of these energies must bring a corresponding adjustment to our awareness of that fact. And this is what we're all out there in the world thinking, that we can get away with our thoughts and we can get away with our feelings and our attitudes and our beliefs and so forth. We've got all these things going on inside of ourselves, negative attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings, and we're making wrong decisions and choices, and we think, oh, nobody knows about it. But you know about it. That's the important thing. And your higher self is trying to communicate with you to say, oh, look, there's a better way. There's a better way. You can start utilizing these energies with practicality, organisational ability, wisdom and love and ethics and morals and principles and values, and we can start creating a better life for ourselves. We can change all these attitudes and beliefs and these thoughts and these feelings into more positive attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings, and they sponsor better choices and decisions. Look, they're the raw materials. Our attitudes and our beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings are the raw materials with which we are creating all of the events and conditions of our life. Nobody is doing it to you. Nobody is up there pulling strings and saying, oh, I want to punish him or I want to punish her because of functional non-viability going on here. No. God and Goddess don't want you to be in pain. They want you to be able to grow and reach and stretch and become all that you can be and more, and to be able to realise that you are creating all of the events and conditions of your life. And so you can start changing these attitudes and beliefs and these thoughts and these feelings. And you can start turning towards more positive attitudes and more positive beliefs and more positive thoughts and more positive feelings that prompt better decisions and choices. And the results will be better finances, better health, better happiness in relationships, a domestic environment that's harmonious and loving, a good work environment, a healthy body, commitment to right food and exercise, and happiness in relationships and partnerships, and bringing about changes within yourself through introspection and reflection instead of getting stuck on your negativities and thinking that you're getting away with it all. Oh, I want to try on that mask. So let's all work together as a team, because it's not just in this day and age, in the Aquarian age, we don't bring about changes in the world through standing on soapboxes on corners and cramming stuff down people's throat that they don't want to hear. The new age is by an expansion of our own consciousness, by an intake of knowledge. Look, you've got the experiences of your life, and you've had plenty of them, and some of them not too happy, and now it's time to have an intake of knowledge. And my intensives are suggested as a good way of intaking knowledge, and through a combination of experience and knowledge comes wisdom. You won't get wisdom just from experience, and you won't get wisdom just from knowledge. So this is what I'm saying to you, is that it's time for all of us to pull together as a team, and by expanding your consciousness and developing wisdom, you start to radiate a wave of energy out there into the world of human living and thinking, and it impacts upon millions of people all over the world that you will never meet. They get inspired by your achievements, your growth, your expansion, your conscious expansion. So this is what it's all about. Let's all get into it. Let's all get fair income about this growth and this achievement and this expansion of consciousness, so that we can all start aligning ourselves with our higher selves and be healthier and happier and more abundance and more joy and wonder and awe and magic and miracles in our life. That's what it's all about. That's what it's got to be all about. Not this tension and conflict and arguments and war and hate and aggression and deception. We're all mature now. It's time now for us to grow up as a human family. So I thank you for your attentiveness here. Now I'm happy to do your horoscope for you, chart free of charge, and to tell you what your ascendant is, and then to do horoscope number 2 for whatever it costs, and I tell you where all the planets are in your various houses and what sort of health problems that you might have because of this aspect or that aspect and so forth. So that's vital, and you get it for next to nothing. And it's a beautiful 20-page printout that you can treasure for the rest of your life. And depending on my workload, I might have a chance to do your horoscope number 3, which is a personal audio reading by me to help you to understand and to integrate all the features of your horoscope so that you understand what's going on in your life and how you can make it more successful and more powerful and more positive and more wonderful. This is what it's all about. It's all about us all becoming more of who we really are. And God and Goddess are there wanting to be our partner. Go to my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com, and get your horoscope done. Put your horoscope details in, and we'll send you a whole bunch of goodies that will help you to become more of who you really are. And the first intensive out of my first book, What Really Matters, all on astrology, meditation and reincarnation, will help you with this 12 CDs free of charge with my voice and backing music and nice relaxing stuff. And then if you want to go further, well then there's intensives 2 and 3, another 24 CDs out of my second book, Coming Home, An Eternal Journey. So all of us are on this journey forever. We never get home. We're always coming home. It's an eternal journey of ever becoming more of who we really are, and we go beyond the human level altogether when we've had enough of it at this level and we've learned enough. So have a good time anyway in this life, and let's all work together as a team to help God and Goddess to implement the plans and the hopes and dreams that they have for all of us. So I thank you for your attentiveness, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to have your horoscope done. Thank you.